This is David Leitch. He directed John Wick. This is Chad Stahelski. He directed John Wick Chapter 2 and John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. This is Derek Kolstad. He wrote all 3 chapters of John Wick. So, these 3 guys made one of the biggest pop culture phenomena of the century. It is especially amazing when compared to how many cinematic universes are rising and falling these days. The Universal's Dark Universe, the DC Universe, which is basically trying to rise since 2013, the Michael Bay's Transformers Universe, which somehow still exists, or the X-Men Universe, which officially perished with Disney overtaking the franchise. Because John Wick is a cinematic universe. What's more, probably the only acclaimed cinematic universe besides the MCU. And there is no sense in calling the John Wick movies as a trilogy, since the 4th installment is set to premiere in 2020. Therefore, in order to examine how something that unlikely happened, let's go back in time, before John Wick even existed, and let's pretend that you are either David Leitch, Chad Stahelski, or Derek Kolstad. How do you invent your own cinematic universe? For starters, you go back to basics of an idea of a blockbuster, or, in other words, a movie for masses. It's got to be a spectacle, but at the same time, it has to be easy to follow for every single member of the audience. You want your brand new cinematic universe to be a roller coaster, a beautiful to watch roller coaster. This is why your movie has to be executed with the use of practical effects and not CGI only. As the absolute basic idea for a story is there, it's time to come up with its characters. You decide to go with only one lead and a healthy dose of characteristic supporting roles. Simply because the only way to have a multiple movie narrative for everyone is to make it straightforward and easy to remember. Your future franchise needs a well-known face. That's why you give your John Wick the face of Keanu Reeves, a beloved, basically cult classic actor who has already proved to have the stardom power to fuel a solid franchise. Plus, The Matrix within its genre is quite far away from John Wick, and that's good, because that's new, and the audience wants the new. Now you have to shape the plot of your smash hit, and you are smart because you keep the plot simple. Revenge is the world your plot plays out in that you make complicated. However, if you want to make the world of your cinematic universe to be rich and interesting, first you have to find a way to explain it to the viewer, and to do it in such way so they don't feel overwhelmed by the exposition, nor being told what to feel like they were children. Therefore, you make one significant change to your story when compared to every other cinematic universes or blockbuster flicks out there. Your lead is not an everyman who gets introduced to the world of the story just like the audience. He already knows the whole world of your story and comes back to it instead. This storytelling decision makes the audience learn the topography of the narrative in a more natural way. You almost make John Wick a guide for the audience. Nevertheless, you still have to smuggle in some amount of exposition. Otherwise, your story would feel way too enigmatic to follow it and enjoy it at the same time. So, you decide to include an element of legend to your main character. And to your movies as well, because movies mostly tell the story of the main character. Firstly, the element of legend invites exposition in a friendly way. If there is an extra who is still new to this narrative's world, they learn about the legend.
It's not just a car, it is John Wick's car.
Because he stole John Wick's car, sir, and killed his dog.
Secondly, it invites humor as well.
Senang bertemu Anda, Mr. Wick.
John Wick?
And so far, you haven't disappointed.
All in all, The Legend of John Wick serves two meals at the same time. It educates the viewer and makes them laugh. Next, if there is comedy, there has to be tragedy. To make your lead realistic, you have to achieve balance. That's the reason behind the ultra-high level of tragedy in your cinematic universe's first chapter. So you can also have ultra-comedy
You shot my dog.
I get it.
and ultra-violence. And get away with it. If there is one legend in your story, there has to be more of them. The legend of the hotel, the legend of blood debts.
This is your blood.
Thanks to the mythology you established, your efforts on world building are less complicated and more comprehensive for the audience. With each installment, you are able to introduce more and more new characters and organizations. Thanks to your mythology, you can boost the stakes higher and higher, since the world you're creating is like mythology. Endless. And now, with your story world architectured, you can deal with the visual aspects of your cinematic universe. First things first, it has to be beautiful. Choosing hordes of neon lights with contrasting and lively colors of set pieces is a perfect choice. Avoiding washed up or neutral color palette, so typical for most of summer blockbusters, is why John Wick looks and feels as stylish as it does. It also gives your cinematic universe a superior and mythological feeling, as if a regular breadwinner stood no chance at even entering it. Next up, the action itself. You want it to feel and look both hypnotizing and brutal, realistic and timeless. The only way to achieve this is to have Keanu Reeves do as many action scenes possible, and making as much action the practical way, not the computer-generated. It was your goal from the very beginning to go back to basics. Basic is timeless, therefore, John Wick is going to be timeless. Finally, to get a huge-scale image, you can't forget about the details, like naming a little cinema that plays a minor role in the story after one of the greatest European art house filmmakers of all time, or like respecting the fundamental rules of reality. Firearms can't fire forever. Leads of an action movies can also run away. In fear, people make mistakes. And, after all of this hard work, you made it. You created an original cinematic universe in the era of non-original cinematic universes. A cinematic universe made with care and passion, painstaking attitude towards details, unforgettable set pieces, gut-wrenching action, and a hero for ages. You created a symphony of blood, colors, plot twists, and cult classic quotes.
Excommunicado.
You wanted me back. I'm thinking I'm back.
And, above all, which doesn't pretend to be something it isn't, and is not ashamed of what it is. You stand as a proud example for each and every person who wants to create something truly original. And apart from thousands of technical solutions and tricks you've put into your John Wick saga, there is one crucial lesson to be learned from your masterpiece. Don't mind the trends. Follow your vision.